they don't look too good on their own, and I don't recommend using them in general. However, you can spice it up a little bit by adding some item frames, and then something to complement the torch itself, so an anvil or some fence, or pretty much anything. You can experiment with what looks good and it looks like it's being held. Another way to light up your bedroom is actually adding like a bedside table with a lamp on it, and then you could decorate it with some banners. These are just, again, ideas that you can use, and I have shown a few of these before, but this is just generally how I would go about lighting in different situations. So in this one, you might have glowstone inlaid on the floor and cover it up with a carpet, so that your room is mysteriously lit up by sources that wouldn't be normally seen. But sometimes you want the lighting to be the feature of your build. So for example, if you were making a dungeon or a stronghold or something sort of medieval, you might want to use fire. So for example, you might make a cobblestone pillar or tower like this and decorate the netherrack, which is very unsightly, and then just set it on fire so that you have a very fitting torch. You might not want to use glowstone or sea lantern or anything like that, because it would fit more to use a natural light source such as fire. Speaking of which, the next one I want to show you is something that people don't often consider as an actual light source. So you can make a real fireplace, just as you would normally see around the house. Obviously you can't use this as a consistent light source, but again, setting the netherrack on fire and dressing it up is a great way to light up your house. Just by adding that fireplace and making sure that you are completely safe from the fire spread, you can have a really good natural light source. The polar opposite of that is what we're going to work on now, and this is a little more tough. So working from the ceiling, we're going to make a chandelier. They're actually fairly simple, but look quite complicated. Using sea lantern, which fits in nicely with the white stained glass that I'm using, you can then wrap it round it at every layer, making sure that it's thicker at the top and gets longer as you go down, while also getting shorter in the width. As you can see, I'm quite simply wrapping it round with the glass pane, but I'm also making sure that each side gives it that cone shape. And I think it looks rather lovely. So next up, I want to show you a couple of very, very simple designs. As you can see, using cobblestone wall and some redstone lamp, you can make a pretty easy outside lamppost. But obviously there are more than one kind of light source, and you need to decide what suits it more. So using a beacon is also another option, because they actually emit a small amount of light. You need to make the decision on what your design is going to be. Next up, I want to show you a more wooden design that would perhaps suit the interior of whatever you got going on in your house. And using a redstone lamp, you can add trapdoors to it with a lever on the back, which you can then activate, and it brings them all up to wrap around nicely. That's the vanilla way to do it. I know that you can activate them without actually having any physical redstone input, but using a lever is definitely the easiest way to go. And you can decorate that however you feel, but it is just another sort of interior lamp design. Now, next up, I have to cover caves, because caves are one of the darkest places, and some people like to live in a cave. So, I've just made a simulation right here, and there are two main ways that I light up a cave. The first one is using the same design earlier, just covering up glowstone with carpet with grey, so it just integrates into the stone, and using a cobblestone wall with some glowstone behind it. However, that's a little unsightly, as you can see very slightly the glowstone in there. And lastly, we have something that is completely hidden, but it does work quite nicely. Lots of people like to use paintings, and you can just cover up some glowstone with a painting. You can't actually see the glowstone behind it, so it's a really nice way to hide your lighting in your house. And that's kind of it. Those are a bunch of ways to do some lighting in your house. Now, I know the designs aren't the prettiest thing in the world, but the idea was to kind of show you that you don't just need torches, you don't just need glowstone, you don't just need redstone lamps with a lever on it. You can spice it up a bit, and if you want, hide your lighting completely. It does seem a little bit odd to have a bedroom or a living room where it's completely lit up, apart from, windows, but has no light source. However, in Minecraft, the light is so rubbish that you wouldn't even tell. I mean, the light sources are just, light comes from that point, but it doesn't really extend much further than the area around it, so it makes little difference, to be honest with you. And all of these designs can be adapted, and that's the main point. These are concepts, and not, copy this design for a great house. Although I do like the chandelier, you can scale all of these up or down, or however you want to use them. Make a house where every light possible is hidden and you didn't need any windows at all, or you could make some other design where fire is your main light source. Anyway, it was all there to try and spark some imagination, as always. So, what's left to say is,